Hi, it's me, Jazzy. I'm back with another tech-related video, and yes, it's that time again. It's Temu tech tool testing time, and we've got a bumper crop today of random cheap tech bits from Temu. Now, it's not a sponsored video, it's just a bunch of stuff that I've bought off of Temu, so we can have a look at it and see what's good and what's not. Remember, as always, I'm testing these so you don't have to. So let's get this little lot over on the bench and see what I've got this time. Right, so it's a bit of a bumper one today. So what are we going to start with? All right, let's start with the little one first. Let's see, what have we got? What I love with ordering stuff from Temu is it's always a while from when you order it to when it arrives. So you've got no chance of remembering what. Oh, look, you CDs? CDs? Yeah, they are writable CDs. Yes, the 90s are back. Right, I got these because they look cool. And I want to see if they're actually any good. Now, they look like little records. How cool is that? These are CDRs, but they look like vinyl. I'd say a bit like the PlayStation 2 discs, aren't they? They're black on both sides. But I don't know if you can see that, but it's actually got the vinyl, like, grooves. Yeah, it's actually textured. It's not a print. That's actually textured on there. That's really cool. But what we're going to do is we're going to give them a test. See how easy they are to write to. Because sometimes when you get coloured discs, they don't work in some CD players, especially the older CD players. So I've got quite a few CD players here that we can test these on. So I think we'll need to do a bit of a testing session on these and see how easy they are to record onto and how easy they are to play back, and also what the audio quality is like. So I think that could be an interesting thing. We could put a couple of CD players on the scope and see if there's any difference to recording onto one of these to recording onto a normal CDR. Interesting, I like that. Now what have we got here? A multifunctional tester. Now this is great. I do need one of these. This is for testing output of USB cables and things that are plugged into cables. I do have one, but it's really bad. The one I've got, it seems to suffer from pretty poor build quality. And it also just keeps turning itself off. So I'm hoping this might be a bit better. So this is a koozie. Of course it is. I think it's a plastic case, but it feels quite solid, and it's got proper labels on the controls. What's it got? On, off, left, right, back. Okay. Pretty simple. There's the model. KWS X1. 4 to 30 volts, 0 to 12 amps. And it supports QC, PD, and PPS. I'm not sure I'm familiar with PPS. Alright, so we've got some instructions, which is always a good thing. Are these yeah, they're multilingual. Love it. And what have we got here then? What's this? Specifications? Possibly the specifications, but I can't see that at all. But we've got some English language instructions here, which is fantastic. So we can dive into this. Let's see if it works, shall we? Let's hook it up and see if we can make it work. Looks like it's got a peel on it, has it? Let's take that off. Let's plug in the DC load. So I mean, the display's quite nice. It's easily readable. So what do I get? Can I get other things? Oh yes, I get my little readout there. So that gives me volts, amps, watts, and that goes back to that screen. So we've got 3 different screens. Okay, gives you everything you need to know pretty much. Okay, so it seems I need to set the menu to English. So it is number 4 is settings. Right, so we want number 4, settings. Okay. Language. English. There we go. Right, we're sorted now, aren't we? Then press OK. Okay, and then we can go back. Right, here we go. Now that makes more sense. So this is quite interesting. So does this give me ripple on my USB power supply? It does. That's quite cool. Right, okay, so yeah, that's giving me voltage peak to peak. It's a bit up and down. So you can change the frequency. Look, 500k, 250k, 125k. And you can go up to 1 meg, 2 megs, 5 megs. Okay, that's interesting. And you can stop it. It's quite useful. It's telling me the volts peak to peak there is 98 millivolts. So what's the protocol one? Oh, right, okay, so there's the different protocols. So that's sync mode. So this on off here does sync mode. I think that's if you're using it in the sync. If you need a USB tester for something, it's not got as much functionality as some, but at least it's in a decent, robust case, which some of these are not. I've been pretty disappointed with the quality of a lot of these little USB testers. This one's alright, at least it's cheap, and I quite like the ripple measurement. That's quite cool. Alright, so what have we got here? A thyristor electronic voltage regulator. Now, yeah, I remember ordering this. I saw this come up, and the next time I went to look for it, it wasn't there. So I'm glad I ordered it when I did. I think it's listed again now. This thing with Temu, it's so random. Stuff seems to come and go all the time. It's like basically like just a dimmer switch type thing. I can't imagine there's much in it. It's not mega heavy. We're going to do a episode on this, and we'll do a teardown. This is going to get its own video. We're going to do a teardown on this, and we're going to do some tests, and we're going to see if it's actually safe. I can already see from this. This does not conform to UK standards because it's not shuttered. I know it's useful having the multi outputs, but it's very light. I mean, the case is all right. The case is probably the best bit. So you've got a voltage display. You've got a nice on-off switch, and you've got a potentiometer there. Now, I think I paid about 15 quid for this. Another thing I've just spotted, look at this plug. This is not a UK compliant plug. There's no fuse. And like, what's with that shape? It should look like that. This is a standard UK plug, not whatever that is. That's really not good. Okay, so we've got some instructions and stuff. I will do a full episode on this one where we'll do a teardown. It's too much to get into on a Temu Tech episode, but keep an eye out for this one. And I'll tear this down. We'll see what we get in there. We'll see how safe it is, and we'll see what the output is like as well. Looks cool. Doesn't cost a huge amount of money, but if it doesn't work or it's unsafe, then it's just not worth getting, is it? Let's set that to one side then, and we'll see that in its own episode. We've got a big packet here with loads of stuff in, and what have we got in here? There's bound to be at least one multimeter in here. There's an Aneng, look. Alright, okay, I'm going to save them for last because I always do. What have we got here then? Let's get these out first. Couple of little gadgety things. Do you know, you'd think I'd be better at opening packets by now. Right. This is to put your multimeter probes in so you can use them one-handed. Now, this costs less than £1, and the idea is you're supposed to put your multimeter probes in it and you'll be able to probe around your board a little bit easier. I mean, in theory, it seems like a reasonable idea. I'm guessing 3D printed by the look of it, which is not a problem. I don't mind that. But if you have probes like these, any sort of decent thick probes, you're going to have no chance. So I'm going to test it with some Bogo standard cheapo probes, which probably are from Temu. Really? Huh. Oh, there we go. Oh. Yeah. That's the end of that test. Oh wow, that is not robust in any way, is it? The idea would be you put that in there. I've obviously put slightly too much force on that, and it's not happy. So that's an immediate fail. The premise is you're supposed to clip them in, and you can then sort of probe around your board like this and test stuff. I don't think it's a good idea at all. Even for less than £1, that one's just fallen out anyway. I mean, you could clip it there, I suppose. The idea being, if it wasn't completely broken, that you could probe around your board. And I kind of get it, yeah, I kind of get it. But there's got to be better ways than this. This has broken already, even though it was less than £1. The probes don't stay in it very well. I don't recommend that. Sorry, that's a fail. Right, okay. What else have we got then? What's this? IC removal tool, I think. Again, this was another cheap little bit. When you get to the checkout, they're like, would you like to add this to your order? They get me every time. Alright, so this is basically a removal tool for getting ICs and stuff off of boards. So let's see how easy it makes it to remove some components from a board. I've got a scrap board here. See if we can get a couple of these ICs out. Okay, so this is, I paid, I think, 89 pence for this. I mean, it feels kind of non-slip. It feels kind of okay. I mean, it's very, very cheap. I've desoldered these ICs here. I've also desoldered a couple of these capacitors down here. The premise is that you get these under the ends of the IC and you can pull it up evenly. Oh wow, look at that. Oh, it does. That's actually quite useful, isn't it? Do you know what? I didn't have high hopes for this, but actually for less than £1, if it does the job, which it does, because you can get right under the IC and you're lifting it equally. Look at this. This is actually, I've got to say, it's a lot better than I expected it to be. I don't have an IC puller. Oh look, this just makes it too easy, doesn't it? Yeah, and it pulls them out nice and cleanly. Obviously I've used the desoldering tool first, but that's done a nice job on that. See, I can recycle some of those chips. I'm going to put them in some anti-static foam, and I might be able to find a use for those. I did desolder this 0 ohm resistor. Oh look, yeah, it's come out pretty easy. What else did I desolder? A couple of these capacitors here. See, now these could be tricky. Oh yeah, there you go, that works. It's quite nice because you can get underneath the component. It's like pulling teeth. Yep. If you don't have one, it's a pretty cheap IC puller. Now, the other thing this could be very useful for, just trying to get the chips out of sockets. I might be pushing my luck here. The trick is to get an even pull on both sides. Just a gentle rocking. Yeah, there you go. That's come out cleanly, all pins intact. So yeah, you can see how that's just hooks underneath the IC there. Don't know how long that would last, but for the money, yeah, not bad. Now, what we've got here is we've got a bit of a multimeter fest. Now, I'm going to do a special episode where we're going to do a bit of a comparison on all the meters that I've got from Temu. So what we'll do is we'll add these three into the mix. So we'll take a quick look at these today. we've got a SZ202. Do you know, this is actually a viewer request. I had somebody in the comments said to me, hey, can you take a look at the SZ202? And because it was so cheap, I thought, yeah, why not? We'll throw that in. So that was actually an extra one that I wasn't going to get. So we've got that. So we'll take a look at that now. We've got a couple more here. We've got a SZ308 and we've got a clamp meter. So let's take a look at the Aneng SZ202, shall we? Right. I mean, we've looked at quite a few Aneng multimeters from Temu. Some of them are all right. Some of them, yeah, not so much. And that's not too bad. Sometimes the dial on these cheap ones is horrible. It's big enough to get hold of and it's makes a pleasing clicky sound. We've got our sockets there, so obviously does current on this one. So this is actually could be all right. Stand is reasonable. Okay, I've got high hopes for this one, but then I always do. Size comparison with standard multimeters, it's a little bit on the small side, but then that could be an advantage because it means it's highly portable. You can carry it around, chuck it in your bag. It's the great thing with these cheap multimeters because you don't pay much for them. I think this was about a £5, and like you don't have to be too precious about it. Like if you got a fluke or something, you think twice about just throwing it in your bag of tools. You want to have a nice case for it and stuff. This you could just sling it in your tool bag and off you go. All right, so you get the standard really cheap quality multimeter probes, but I mean they would do the job. The thing is, not everyone can afford or needs an expensive multimeter. If you're just doing hobby stuff, then this kind of thing's absolutely fine. A lot of these cheap ones, as in most of these cheap ones, I wouldn't recommend doing anything near mains with them. But for low voltages in circuits and logic stuff, it's fine. If you're just messing about with microcontrollers and things, which is always fun. And we've got some instructions here, multilingual instructions. Right, here we go. There's the specifications. You can freeze frame that if you're thinking of getting an SZ202 for yourself, because you might be. Let's see what we've got. Right, here we go. I quite like testing these cheap multimeters because sometimes we do find a nice little winner. Oh, that's a bit weird, isn't it, that display? And it seems to be more well lit this end than it does this end. Ooh, okay. All right, well, let's give it the benefit of the doubt. So what have we got here? So we've got AC and DC volts. We'll press select to flick between AC and DC. We've got resistance, diode and continuity. Got capacitance there, non-contact voltage, milliamps range and amps range. And I presume again we can flick, yeah, we can flick between AC and DC on those. Okay, nice and easy. All right, I like this. This is quite a nice positive selector switch here. It's not bad, it feels not bad. I'm really not that keen on the display. Let's have a quick look at the other multimeters then, and then we'll test all three of them together. Right, this is the Aneng SZ308. This was already in my basket when I spotted the 202. I wasn't planning to buy 3 multimeters, but I already had this in my basket because it was super cheap, and I can feel why it was super cheap. This weighs nothing. This weighs nothing at all. Manual ranging, okay. I mean, that's all right. It's not bad. It's a bit smushy, but it's okay. Oh, it does current, does it? Oh, okay. Did you know this was like £3 or something? But it does feel cheap. It's got no stand on the back. We'll give it a test out. I'll find some batteries to put in it. It comes with the ultra cheap multimeter probes. Dear oh dear. Okay, but it'll do the job. Right, so this meter, when I bought it, I believe it was less than £3, which is ridiculous for a multimeter. I'm going to use a standard 9-volt alkaline battery because I want to give it its best possible chance. Right, possibly the cheap... That catches me out. Right, so it's weird that the battery's at the top, isn't it? Behind the display. That's an unusual style choice. That actually makes it quite top heavy. I don't like that. It's a bit unbalanced because the battery's in the top end. I'm not a fan of that, to be honest. Now, this is probably the cheapest multimeter that I've tested so far. Okay, so Bogo's standard display, as you'd expect from something this cheap. But I'm always intrigued by these cheap ones. So obviously we've got AC volts range there, 750 and 200. HFE for your little transistor tester there. So we've got our amps ranges there. 2 milliamps, 20 milliamps, 200 milliamps, 10 amps. Why does it say 20 there? 200 milliamps. When you go to 10 amps, it says 20. Interesting. This is your square wave output. Okay. Then we've got diode and continuity here. Now, interestingly, there's no buttons or anything. There's nothing to select a second option. So obviously when it's there, it's doing diode and continuity. All right. So ohms range, 200, 2000, 20k. Okay. 200k. 2000k. DC volts here, 200 millivolts, 2000 millivolts, 20 volts, 200 volts, and 1000 volts. Wow, I'm not sure I want to be putting 1000 volts through this. It feels light as a feather till you get the battery in it. Let's take a look at the third multimeter I've got. Okay, last one. I always save the best for last. This is a digital clamp meter, which are always useful, but this is a talking digital clamp meter, of course. This is the FS668S, which they've actually had to put an extra sticker on there for the model because it's not on one of the tick boxes. Okay, it's also not sealed in any serious way. What have we got? We've got a multimeter, some probes, and some instructions. Two lots of instructions. Well, that feels... actually, it feels better than it looks. I will say that. First impressions when I took it out of the box is that it looks very plasticky, but it's got a slight texture to the plastic, and it doesn't feel as bad as it looks. But we got no manual ranging at all. It's auto all the way. We've got resistance, we've got DC volts, AC volts, continuity, AC current, so just AC current. It does capacitance, it does non-contact voltage and frequency. And I'm wondering if it's the same voice as the other two. Right, well, we're going to find out. We've got some probes which are actually reasonable. And we've got some instructions. So again, let's grab some batteries and hook this up. Two AAAs, popular choice. I get through a lot of AAA batteries here.
Already on.
Already on. There's that familiar voice that we love. Seems like this is pretty standardized then with the voices on these, because that sounds like the same voice as the other two meters that we had. We've just got simple on off.
It's about to enter standing state.
Yep, it's about to enter standing state, and I think I am as well.
Already on.
So we've got hold.
Data lighting.
Data lighting seems to translate as hold. I'm not sure why. I guess if I hold that in, I get the torch.
On.
This lights up. You've got a nice backlight. That's lovely.
Lighting off.
Now, I get the premise of voice broadcast multimeters, and they do genuinely have a place. They do have a use. If you're working in an area where you can't easily see the screen, or you've got poor eyesight or whatever. So if you're working under a vehicle, for instance, where there might not be enough space to actually look at your multimeter screen, that sort of thing, this could be useful to give you an indication.
AC voltage measurement.
She sounds really happy. AC voltage measurement. She's really enthusiastic. I love that. AC current measurement, so that'll be on the clamp there. Nice. There's a little relay click as you go into non-contact voltage, so I suspect there's going to be a little relay inside this. As I always say, some people can't afford an expensive multimeter or don't need an expensive multimeter. If you're only doing bits and bobs, my quest is to find the best ones out of all the cheap multimeters that I come across on Temu. which has been quite a few so far. So what we'll do, because we've got 3 cheap multimeters here together, we're going to test them all together. Now these probes are really cheapy quality, but they are quite pointy. These are not great though at all. But the thing is, even if you do buy like a really cheap multimeter, there's no reason why you couldn't spend a couple of quid and get some slightly better probes. And then we've got our SZ202 here. All right. Now, the first test I like to do with any multimeter is continuity. So let's have a look at our little Aneng SZ202, which does have tip covers on the probes. These are actually not bad. I'd say in terms of probes, I would say these are probably the best of the 3, then these, and these are like the ultra cheap quality. But bear in mind, this was less than £3. That's unbelievable. So let's go to continuity then. That's not bad. Okay. Long beep. Yeah. Not bad at all. It's not got a great viewing angle. Like that, I can hardly see it. Like that, it's okay. It seems to be when you're moving this about, can you see it? It just flickers. It's not great. Okay, but continuity, yeah, not bad. All right, let's check the other 2. Continuity mode. It's continuity and diode. Oh, that's a weird beep, isn't it? Wow, piercing, I would describe that as. Really not very quick. And it'll do a long beep. Okay, continuity wise, not the worst I've seen. Now, how about this? So it looks like diode and continuity are on the same function here. That's not good. This is often a problem with these auto-ranging, auto-function ones. You do get the visual indication. That's your indicator or warning light. I guess that's going to come on for the non-contact voltage. But you can't do... It's giving me a reading, but it's not giving me a continuity beep unless I hold it on there. Does do continuous beep, okay. So in terms of continuity, the SZ202 was the best, and the SZ308 not brilliant, and this FS668S really not good at all. Right, so DC voltage measurement then. Let's hit these up with 10 volts.
Voltage measurement 9.86 volt.
So we got 9.99, 9.96 and 9.75. She is very keen. Right, let's vary the voltage then. Let's up to 60 volts and see where we go. Got to go up the range on this one. 60.1 volts here. 62.5, 62.4, a bit over. 57, quite under. Okay, so let's go for half a volt. So we can go down a range on this one now.
Voltage measurement 0.0229 volt.
This one is really struggling with DC volts. So if I go down to the 2000 millivolts range on this one, it's giving me 475. We've got 0.481 volts on here. And this is really struggling, this one. Okay, let me just do one more. Let's go down to 100 millivolts and see what we get. So at 100 millivolts, they're settling down now. So pretty much ballpark on that. Okay, so with DC volts then, this was our most accurate, this was our least accurate. It did seem to struggle a bit there. Let's take a quick look at resistance. At 1 ohm, we've got 1.1 ohms on here. Just do a few quick little tests, why not? What have we got on here? Oh, it's a little bit all over the place, isn't it? It's given me 2 ohms. So again, this is another one that doesn't have a dedicated continuity mode. So yeah, it's giving me a reading, but you have to suffer the continuity beep. Let's go for 10 ohms. 10.2. Okay, this is not too bad. I'm not a big fan of that display, but it's actually not too bad to use. 10.1, 10.0. Okay. What do we get on here? Again, we've got to suffer the beep, and it is off 11.1. All right, let's do 100 ohms. Yeah, 100.4. This is actually not bad to use. 95.5. It's a bit all over the place, this one, isn't it? All right, 101.4 ohms, and it's over the threshold of the beep problem. I'm wondering where that is. Is that going to be around 50 ohms, is it? 50. Yeah, it's around 50 ohms where it's going to beep. Let's just quickly try 1K before we move on to capacitance. Yeah, lovely. Not a problem for the SZ202. Oh, we need to go upper range now. 904. Yeah, it's kind of not amazing, but then I think this one is a little bit too cheap. This one, what are we going to get this time? Okay.
Test measurement
1.012 thousand ohms. Nice. Okay, I've got to say this is probably the least accurate of the 3 talking multimeters that we've tried so far. Now we'll have a quick try with capacitance. Can we pick up the 160 picofarad residual of the box? We can. Actually not too bad. It's creeping up. This meter doesn't do capacitance, so this one will have to sit out this round. Do we get the 160 picofarads? Let me...
0.17390 farad.
Okay, all right, let's go 1 nanofarad. Don't forget we've got that 160 picofarad residual, so that's not bad. 1.167 nanofarads. All right.
1.1679 farad.
10 nanofarads. Yeah, 10.33. Not bad. Yeah, 10.21. Okay. Let's go 1 microfarad. Yeah, 1.027.
1.028 microfarad.
10,000 microfarad test. It's thinking. Overload. Oh, it's not going to do it. I've had a few meters that have failed this test. No, unfortunately not for this one. Okay, so let's try the talking one. Okay, 10,000 microfarads, come on. She's thinking about it. 9.23 millifarads. Okay, strangely this is better on capacitance than it is on resistance. It's more accurate on some things than others. All right, so diode mode with the SZ202. Get my forward voltage, yes, 0.550 volts, no beep. Let's try with our super cheap SZ308. Go diode mode. Now this one does have a few other bits, like we've got a transistor tester on here, and we have got a square wave. We'll take a quick look at the square wave. Okay, so 455, 456. Okay, interesting. Let's have a go with this one with our talking friend. Right, now we've got to select diode mode. Okay, I won't do all the functions with all the meters because we will be here all day.
0.602 volt.
So one more test really that I want to do, because this episode's not long enough to do every single function on all of these multimeters. So I'm going to try non-contact voltage. So you get quite a loud beep. Yeah, which varies depending on how near you get. Now this does not have non-contact voltage. However, this one does have non-contact voltage. Okay, you've got the visual flashing of the LED, and you've got a beep. Not as loud as the SZ202, but it's okay. So yeah, non-contact voltage is fine on that. And what we should do is check the current clamp. Let's check out the AC current measurement. I've got a power supply plugged into this. Let's compare that with a known good clamp meter. We've got 0.116. We're getting 0.11. So actually, yeah, not bad. So a quick test of the square wave output from the SZ308, and according to my scope, it's showing it at 57.9886 Hertz. So I guess they were aiming for around 60 Hertz. Whether that's useful to you or not, I'll leave that up to you. So in terms of our cheap Temu multimeters from this episode, what can I say? What's my conclusion on these cheap as chips multimeters? Well, I actually quite like the SZ202. It's got a little stand and it seems okay. I'm not a massive fan of the white on black display. It's not got the best viewing angle, but actually for a really cheap multimeter it's perfectly acceptable as a backup multimeter. I've actually found using it quite reasonable because this is nice and easy. It's got a really nice positive click to it. You've got your hold, you've got a rel function. It's actually all right if you can put up with that display, which is not the best. This I think is a bit too cheap, but then again, if you want a basic bog standard multimeter, it is really cheap, and it does have a transistor tester on it. In terms of the talking clamp meter, now we've looked at some other talking meters before. I preferred the other two talking meters. I found them to be a little bit more accurate possibly than this. This is quite loud though, which is quite good, because if you want a meter that's going to read out the measurements to you, you want to be able to hear it. The clamp function seems to work quite well, the AC current clamp, and it feels okay. Doesn't feel too bad. And the probes that came with it were actually not too bad for a cheap multimeter. My quest is to find the best value, cheap multimeter that you can get for very little money that will work well. This is probably one of the better ones that I've found. The SZ202 is actually not bad at all. I'd say out of the three that I've tested today, that's my preferred one. So there you go. What was your favourite out of the three cheap multimeters I looked at today? This SZ202 is not bad actually, but then the 308 is super cheap, and the clamp meter has the advantage that it talks to you. Now, as always is the case with the products on Temu, sometimes they go in and out of stock. This one was available when I started filming, but it seems to have been discontinued since. There is an Aneng branded version of this though that you can get on AliExpress, and I'll leave the link for that in the description down below. And this so-called voltage regulator as well, that's another one that goes in and out of stock, but I'll leave alternative links for anything that's out of stock down below as well. The probe thing, well, I can't really recommend that. It broke straight away. Maybe I should have got a couple of them, but I suspect it would have suffered the same fate. This particular plastic seems fairly brittle, and it didn't take too well to the multimeter probes being put in. So even if it did work, I suspect it wouldn't have worked for long. There's probably a better way of doing that. The IC puller, yeah, I reckon that's a little winner. It was really cheap, and you can buy them in multiples as well, and just a handy thing to have in your drawer. I know there's better ones out there, but pretty handy. The CDs I'm going to follow up with another video, and we'll do a test on those versus some normal CDRs, see if there is any difference or not. I have seen with some of the coloured and translucent CDs that it can be a bit of loss in quality recording on it. We can take a look at that on the scope. We've got quite a few CD players around here that we can try that on. And of course the little USB tester, well, I'll be using that on a regular basis. A lot of test gear is USB-C powered these days, so often I need to test what sort of current or voltage is being drawn. So this could be quite useful, and I like the ripple function. That's quite cool. So as always, I'm testing these products so you don't have to, so you can pick and choose the ones that you like and think will work best for you. I will be following this up with a couple of other videos, the CDRs, the voltage regulator, and the roundup of the cheap Temu multimeters when I get 5 minutes. Hope you've enjoyed today's episode of Temu Tech Tool Testing Time. As always, massive thanks to everyone for liking, sharing, commenting and subscribing, and massive thanks to my YouTube members. Don't forget, you can also support me on Patreon and buy me a coffee if you wish. All these things help me to support the channel and help me to keep making more cool videos. So I'll be back soon with some more tech related videos, but in the meantime, take care and I'll see you on the next one.